Fake it till you make it. It's the often recommended approach for boosting your confidence, using imitation for transformation. But what I think we should be asking ourselves is, can we use the same approach for restoring our oceans? Let me take you to one of my favorite places in the world, a seagrass meadow. Imagine snorkeling in the shallow waters of a sheltered bay. We swim over this beautiful meadow with long, lush green leaves that sway in the ocean current with pillars of light coming down between them. And even with such an alluring natural architecture, the true beauty of this place comes from the fact that it is a home. This meadow is home to an abundance of marine creatures, especially those that are small and vulnerable, seeking shelter in the nursery created by the roots and leaves. And the more time we spend observing this underwater wonder, the more we come to realize that the homes that exist underneath the waves are not that different from our homes here on land. Of course, seagrass shoots look very different from our houses, but their function is rather similar. They provide shelter from the harsh conditions of wild weather, and as a result, they are teeming with life. But if we keep swimming a bit, we come across a hole in the meadow where the seagrass stops, and instead we find ourselves in this large, barren, sandy patch fracturing the meadow. And in the middle, we find what caused this. A boat mooring block with a metal chain attached, dragging over the seabed that has ripped up all the seagrass, leaving only bare sand behind. This is a seagrass scar. And this scar can seem small and insignificant on its own, but losing one small patch at a time is a certain way to lose the entire meadow. And in the grand scheme of things, these losses contribute to the 30% of seagrass that we have lost worldwide due to the pollution and the smothering and the oftentimes just direct removal of seagrass that has occurred as we have built our houses and cities and infrastructure, the majority of which lie along the coast, hugging our ocean neighbor. And as a result, this vital marine habitat has suffered severe declines. And knowing its importance, we must find a way to bring back the seagrass that we have lost. But re-establishing a meadow can be incredibly difficult due to the many important functions that the meadow performs, which we might not notice when it's there, but they become disturbingly clear once it's gone. To name a few, it can stabilize the sediment with its roots, it can dampen waves with its leaves, and it can even improve the sediment and water quality by cycling nutrients in its growth. All of these functions provide conditions that are perfect for new seagrass shoots to grow because the meadow ensures that the new shoots are not uprooted by waves or smothered by sediment or succumb to excess nutrients. Seagrass meadows are ecosystem engineers because they have exactly this ability to alleviate harsh conditions and bring about ones that are more favorable, not only for their inhabitants seeking shelter, but also for seagrass itself to grow. So the reason why re-establishing a meadow can be so incredibly challenging is because when the meadow is lost, all of these functions are lost with it. Now the sediment moves around, waves come crashing in, making it near impossible for new seagrass shoots to grow. So even if we were to put on our scuba gear, go out and manually plant new shoots, in these conditions, they are unlikely to survive. Without a meadow, new shoots cannot grow. Without new shoots, the meadow will not come back. This bare patch is simply stuck in a degraded state. And when we are losing more and more seagrass every year, areas of irreversible decline will become more and more common. Now, a deep breath as we acknowledge the despair that comes from talking about the state of the natural world and the role that we have played in getting to where we are now. There is a tragic irony at play, which is that in building the houses that we live in and the cities that we meet in and the infrastructure that connects us all, we have caused the severe decline of seagrass and other ecosystem engineers that function as exactly that for the underwater world. But there is another side to this irony, which is that in building all of this, we have become quite skilled engineers ourselves. Like seagrass, we have the ability to build structures that can alleviate harsh conditions and bring about ones that are more favorable. So now the question is, if a seagrass shoot needs a meadow to thrive, have we potentially become skilled enough to mimic this? In other words, can we fake it till nature makes it? That is what I want to find out. So to do that, let's dive back into that bare sandy patch. By understanding the specific ecosystem engineering that was performed by the now lost meadow, we can build artificial seagrass that is designed to mimic how its leaves would have dampened waves, how its roots would have stabilized the sediment, and even how it would have improved the sediment conditions. This means that when we put on our underwater gardening gloves, go out and plant the real seagrass shoots, by introducing these structures in our restoration design, we can maintain the functions of a meadow in its absence, giving the real planted shoots a much better chance to take root. And we have even found that if we design these structures well enough, little seagrass inhabitants are happy to move in and have this as their temporary home while they wait for the real deal to come back. And I have to say, the best compliment that I have received for my artificial seagrass was when I was out diving and I saw that a little seahorse was hanging on to an artificial leaf and saw that it had even changed its color to match. Now, importantly, this is not about replacing nature. The idea is to fake the presence of a meadow to help new shoots survive, thrive, and grow into a well-established habitat that can eventually make it on its own, to help degraded areas shift back to healthy habitats, and to do this in areas that are unlikely to naturally recover. And it goes beyond seagrass. With this approach, we can restore other ecosystem engineers like kelp forests and oyster reefs and coral reefs that can similarly become stuck in a degraded state when they are lost because the essential functions that they maintained are lost with them. This approach opens up for an incredible and creative exploration of what functions are lost with the loss of a habitat and what engineering measures can we introduce to maintain those in our restoration design. By using the knowledge and skills that we have acquired in this way, human development can become a tool used for promoting nature rather than the cause of its decline. With this in mind, that despair we all felt before is transformed to hope when we realize that while we have played a role in the destruction of nature, we also have a role to play in its recovery. We can create a future where the benefits of our coexistence with nature goes both ways, where we can give nature the conditions that it needs to thrive, as it has done for us for hundreds of thousands of years. From this perspective, we are truly lucky to be living in this incredible, pivotal point in history where the actions that we take today will have a tremendous impact on the people that will inherit this planet from us. Pivotal because we fully understand the consequences of our past actions while also having the knowledge and skills to rectify them and do better now and in the future. So just as losing one small patch at a time was a certain way to lose the entire meadow, one small patch at a time is a certain way for us to bring that meadow back. And I feel hopeful that one way of restoring some of what we've lost is indeed to fake it till nature makes it.